Okay, looks like I'm live. Since this is a little strange. Rumble Studio's been acting a little weird lately. I started the stream and it just showed me spinners. It usually tells me that everything's going and it takes me to this screen here where things are working and hasn't been. So maybe I need to update my browser. Maybe I need to, you know, just refresh my computer or something. But I'll try to clear that up for next time. So today wasn't sure what to do. I've got the sound effects laid in for Jody Sperling's story in the Garden of End Times, so that I'll be dropping tomorrow morning probably, backdating it to Tuesday, and also be dropping the final part of the novel, A Really Good Day. So if you guys have been following that at all, that will be complete 24 parts. It's the longest one I have on my podcast. Roughly 12 or 13 hours of audiobook. And yeah, I need to get that up on Audible, although there's a couple fixes I need to do before I do that. So I'm gonna have to do some editing before I drop that up there. Also need to republish the paperback version of that and the ebook version to match up with this, but man, I've been so behind. If you're going to be a writer, avoid the day job. Avoid the day job and the part-time night job, because those are killer. They just suck up all of your time. I know what I'm doing here. But I got a kid to put through college, getting them through debt free so far. So I'll keep at it. Keep at it, see what I can do. All right. So let me come over here, share my screen with you guys. All right. So here's where I was working on Dreams of Her, which is the story about the guy who has a dream about a woman. And I went through, took a couple more passes at it. It's ready for me to read. So I can't do the live read here yet. I haven't set that up. I need two computers for that, but I'll be doing that tomorrow, probably, and get that up. So I'm looking for a new story to write, and I'm trying to figure out which one I want to do. This one is kind of interesting: werewolves and vampires and aliens. Oh my! Magician's assistant is pretty cool. Oh, it was this one. For entertainment purposes only. I don't know what that is. This is an old one. Live stream. This one is interesting. I'm kind of curious about what that's gonna be. But I kinda wanna do I haven't done a monster well, no, I take that back. I just did a monster story. The Blueberry Patch is a monster story. But I wanna do this. I think it's got a nice twist here. So, anyone who's watching this is, not gonna be surprised. You will always be, I think, enjoy the story even if you know what's coming because I add a lot of value to it in the recording process and the producing process. But what I wanted to do here with this story was sort of reverse the full moon thing. So we always think traditionally werewolves turn are men who turn into a wolf under the full moon. What if they are actually wolves all the time and their human skin is a disguise that is revealed or removed when the full moon is shining? Just kind of flip it around, right? So, how to do this though? I'm thinking in the context of a monster hunter, right? And that always strikes me as like a scene where you're in a bar, sitting. There's a guy sitting at the corner of the bar, and it looks interesting. And you just strike up a conversation. In fact, I'm thinking about making the narrator be a uh, a writer who is always on the lookout for stories, and so he like trolls the bars looking for interesting people and tries to get them to tell their story that he could then write up and sell to a magazine, or maybe he podcasts them. I don't know. So that's the premise here, right? So, writer goes into a bar looking for an interesting person from whom he can get a story. All right, so that's the setup. So whenever I'm doing this kind of stuff, I always like to think about this. I always like to start the story like sometimes half the time I'll start with like a line of dialogue. I think that works extremely well for a short story because bam, you're right in the middle of it. It starts moving immediately, moving forward. I have a lot of stories that do not start that way, where I do a lot of exposition. I probably, if I thought about it, I might rewrite them without the exposition, but they're done. They're up there, and they may see another form in the future. Uh, some of them, I write as kind of like an idea draft, right? This is the seed of another story, a longer story, a shorter story, a novel, and I put it out there because it's easier than keeping a notebook with all this stuff, and it also, I think, sharing this stuff with people as I'm coming up with it kind of helps me evolve as a writer and shape my Insomniverse, which is the world of that all my stories take place in. Well, not all of them, but it's the common world that a lot of stories share. Different antagonist settings, people, and so forth. Rules, world building kind of stuff. So he goes in the bar. Okay, sees a grizzled guy sitting at the corner on the corner of the bar, and they're saying beer. Not actually, no, it's the beer. Something stronger, right? Nursing a glass of whiskey. That sounds like something he would drink. I'm not a drinker. I don't know my alcohol very well. Uh, so a lot of times you'll see me reference things in a very sort of idealistic manner, and also don't drink coffee. So I don't get, I don't have that sort of sensory connection to these two things. So I do my best. Try to substitute other experiences I've had. Why don't I do that? I just coffee. I don't like the taste of alcohol. I don't like what it does to my brain. I like my brain the way it is. That's just me. So don't have an aversion to it. I do drink from occasion. Have a glass of wine, champagne, wedding, and stuff like that. But it's just not part of my daily, weekly, monthly life. Grizzled guy, nursing a glass of whiskey, approaches and tries to strike up a conversation. Okay. The man hears the writer's pitch and warns him that if he tells his story, he might not like what he finds out. Something like that, right? Kind of like set the mood, like what I'm going to, if you want me to tell you my story, I will, but you may wish I hadn't, right? I wish he hadn't. All right, so we got that going there. Actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a snapshot of this. Can I do that here? Where's the snapshot stuff? Where'd they move that? Documents, snapshots, take a snapshot. Title, original idea. Okay, good. So that what that does is it sort of preserves this text I have down here so I can refer back to it, or in my my fantasy world, the scholars who later examine my work will be able to understand what's going on there. All right, maybe wish he hadn't. Okay, tells his history of how he became a werewolf hunter. Writer is skeptical, but allows the man to tell his tale. He was living on a farm in the country. One night, there was an extremely bright meteor. I always forget the difference here. Is it a meteor is before it enters the atmosphere, or is that the meteorite? So I have to research this right at this moment. I've got to take this up and figure out what's going on here. So let's do a new window here. Yikes. What's going on here? There we go. All right, there we go. Difference between meteor and meteorite. All right, a meteor burns up in the atmosphere, a meteorite hits the ground. Okay, so the meteorite hits the ground. So I guess I could use either one in this particular case. I'm going to say meteorite. That lit up the sky and crashed a couple miles away. He and his brother went to check it out. Okay. The brother got separated. Found him with his throat torn out. Strange footprints. Okay, and so he's like tries to find the animal who did it. Tracks the what do we call it? Tracks the beast and sees the footprints change from animal to human. Okay. Okay, so that's a interesting thing going on there. So he's telling the story, so he does that. But what else is going on? I need more. Need some sort of conflict, right? He gets arrested for his brother's murder. Question mark. I'm not sure about that, but that sounds like an interesting twist, right? Escapes. continues the search for the real killer. The writer's gonna be less sarcastic here. Oh, just like OJ. Okay. What do we got here next? Eventually, he started noticing stories online about people killed in a similar manner to his brother. The FBI maybe blames the killings on him, but he knows it's the real killer. And he further realizes that the killings happen during the full moon. Okay, so yeah, traditional vampire stuff, or not vampire, werewolf stuff, right? Um, when he realized he was chasing a werewolf. Now, what I can do is I can throw in a red herring that the man is really the werewolf. The writer suspects it, challenges him on it. Right, so that's kind of cool. This is like the twist that I can throw in there, where telling the story, and I'll lead them down the path where the writer is thinking this man is hunting himself. He's staring into the mirror behind the bar, looking at his prey, and the prey is him. Right, but then let's at some point, we see someone in the bar start to have convulsions, right? And the guy goes over there and he sees the guy basically turning into a werewolf, or should I say, changing back from a human into the alien form that he has. So the werewolf is actually the alien form, right? Okay. So next we're gonna do yeah, let's throw in that scene. So the man is staring in the mirror. Writer becomes convinced that he is the werewolf. He's hunting himself. But of course, there are no such things. He's possibly a multiple personality disorder. And so I'll see how that conversation goes. But if the guy is like, kind of there, and the writer is bold. The writer is bold enough. He's like he walks up to strange people in bars, right? He's gonna tell the guy that here's what I think. I think there is no such thing as werewolves, and you killed your brother, and you had a dissociative moment where you unleashed a beast within you, and there we go, right? Um, the man laughs. Why are you laughing? Okay. Just then, someone at the front of the bar. So I'm trying to. I have a picture of the bar in my head, right? It's like a place you walk into, uh, and there's like tables in the front, up against the window and so forth. Maybe booths along the side, and then the bar in the middle, and or the bar at the far end, right? That's kind of like one of those narrow places. There's like a kitchen and storage behind the bar. And so you walk in and you can go straight to the bar. You can sit at a table. You can go find a booth. So this guy's sitting at the corner of the bar. He can look in the mirror and see a table over in the far corner there where the guy who he knows is his brother's killer is there. Uh, Starts having convulsions. Now, I guess the question here is just why is this guy making himself vulnerable at this point? Man who killed my brother is here in this bar, but it's not me. He glances in the mirror, and the writer realizes he's not looking at himself. He's looking at someone at one of the tables. Or maybe it is a booth. Let's put him in a booth. One of the booths. He's trapped here. Can't make a move without me getting him. Stranger shows the writer a rifle. Rifle? What's he got? He's got some sort of probably illegal weapon. Machine gun? Do I want a machine gun? Rifle. Or we can get a shotgun. We can do like a shotgun that's got like multiple rounds in it. A shotgun he has hidden under his coat. Loaded with silver shot. Explains. Uh why not? Why not silver? Or me? That'll be fun. Silver doesn't kill him. It's just a lifestyle. Okay, just then someone at the front of the bar starts having convulsions. The writer goes to help him. But there's nothing you can do. Skin seems to be melting away. Out the window, he notices the full moon rising. Okay, so that's cool. What next? A man transforms into a werewolf. Stranger shoots him with the shotgun. Several times, but it has no effect. They battle. So, what I'm thinking about now is what is the final twist here, right? We've kind of like led the reader down the primrose path of the stranger just being the killer, and maybe he even starts to believe it. But then the guy has convulsions and starts turning into a wolf and shoot him. Wolves always travel in packs. Is that the thing? So this is one of those ones where I may not know what the ending is until I get there. Big knife, hex at the beast's head until it is separated from the body. Oh, this is a gory one. I I I sometimes wonder if I need to put trigger warnings on these, but it's okay. Big knife hacks at the beast's head until it's separate from the body. And then there's a couple of idea here, right? So police arrive and shoot him. Um, okay, appears to die. Killing him. Let's do this. Werewolf comes back to life. He explains to Ryder that he found something else in the woods that night. A spaceship. A flying saucer. And inside, the werewolf. An alien. Uses some sort of technology to disguise themselves as humans, but the light of the full moon has disrupts the effect and reveals them for who they really are. Okay, there we go. So there you go. That's a nice little twist. I think I can make this work. All right, so this is going to be a nice little, cool little story going on here. So it goes into the bar. So I think I can write this one now. I think I've got this one sorted out. So I'm going to drag this over here. It's going to come after leap. And let's see here. That's another one. So this one is interesting too. This is your narrator is telling you that they live in a garden. And in the garden, there are these statues. But he could swear that these statues are moving. And what it turns out is that it's a mayfly that just lives for a day. And of course, he experiences his whole life in the span of a day. And to him, everything else is moving really, really slow. Human beings or appear statues and so forth. So I don't know. This one might be possible, but it's so this one is about a were deer, so it might be a little bit too close to this. Um, this one seems a little derivative. Man wakes up to find out everyone's killing him, and it turns out he's a character in a video game. Can I make that work? Probably, but is it an original? It's not an original story, right? I mean, you've heard this kind of thing before. I mean, we just did that with that what's his name movie, Ryan Reynolds movie with the where's the video game character? What was the name of that movie? Anyone remember? Now this one may be a good canon to do too. So this yellow butterfly, if you guys have been following along, you know that my mystery stories all have a color in the title, and they involve my blind detective and his assistant, Isaac Black and Jeremy White, Black and White Mysteries. Isaac is blind, so he investigates things in this way. And so the premise of this story is that man is killed. They don't know who the killer is. Paul and Isaac. And they see a yellow butterfly, or his partner Jeremy sees a yellow butterfly, and that's the clue because it's a very specific butterfly that only hatches for a specific short period of time during the year, but it's not that time of year. So how could this butterfly possibly have hatched during this time in this location too, in Chicago? And the twist, the thing I want to do here is that there's a greenhouse, a hothouse that has been locked up and searched and so forth, but that's where the killer is hiding. And now that I said it out loud, I hate it. I don't think I like this one. I don't think I like this one. Let's go to this one, Magician's Assistant. So this one could be fun. So we've got an ailing magician, and he's got an assistant who's really magic. Maybe she's like an elf or something, right? Aging magician. I think this might be the next one I want to do after that. Aging magician hires a new assistant. Not as agile as he used to be. Hires a new assistant. His act gets markedly better. How about this? um, tries out for a TV talent show. It's one of my guilty pleasures is watching those talent shows like The Voice or America's Got Talent. So I kind of enjoy that stuff. So he tries out for a TV talent show. Makes it to the finals. Wins. What does the assistant do? Reveals her secret. All right, so it's something that I don't know exactly what it is. All right. Well, here's the deal. I've got the end of Leap to write. I've got werewolves and vampires and aliens. Oh my! I gotta change the title of that because there's no vampires in this anymore. Let's come up with a new title for this while we're here. By the light of the moon. Yeah, that sounds good. And then I'll do the magician's assistant after that. So these are the stories for the rest of the month. And then what I'm also going to be doing too is I'm going to be remastering some stories because I did like as you know, I did the audio version of um, my short story collection and sold some of those at the book show. And I'm also going to be giving them out as a premium for joining my mailing list, the Insomniacs Snooze-letter. So I want to just make sure that everything in there is top notch. I'm going to leave it as it is for now, but as I add these stories, as I remaster them, I'm going to go ahead and update the podcast and then update the audiobook with those. And then also sort of fill out the things and sort of make sure I'm getting enough downloads per month, right? Because the more episodes you drop, the more downloads you get, and then the higher you go in the ratings. So that is the plan. So, as I mentioned too, it's kind of interesting. After the first day of the show, when I was handing out cards and selling those little mini books, there's the mini book again. I was getting. Let me show it to you about. Here's a little mini book, right? So these things here, 3 stories, about 50 pages, filled with advertisements for my other stuff and QR codes for the podcast, right? So you'll see something like this for my series. Then you go to the story, and there's the title page for the story, and then a QR code where you can listen to it. So it's kind of cool. So anyway, after doing that, I got like 150 downloads. Now it's possible that one person or two people subscribed and set it to download all the previous episodes, and so that's where I got all the extra downloads from. But that's fine. Um, getting those downloads uh, is something that is valuable regardless of how I get it. Let me check the overcast, by the way, here. Cast ads. See what fiction's at today. It's down to 200. So this started out at 340 a week ago. I think I showed this to you guys. So last time I ran this, I actually got 91 subs off of it. They promise you 20 to 30. Well, they don't promise you, but they say that you'll get 20 to 30. But with my new logo, I really bumped that up. 200, too high. When it gets down to 100, I will buy it. They've got 3 slots for this, so nobody has purchased it yet. So every day this price goes down a little bit. They've got some sort of algorithm, I'm sure. And again, I'll show you what happened on mine. So this is what it looked like before, right? I was buying these ads, and the first time I got 35, and then 42, and then 33, da da da. So like in the mid 30s, basically average. Then and before this, I had my different podcast logo in there. Let me show that to you real quick here. See if we can pull that up. Let's go to graphics. So this is what the previous logo looked like. Just that, just a square with the words on it. But we can see when you scale it down, we can, if we can scale it down, let me see if I can scale this down here. Actually, you can see it better here. So it would look like this on your phone, right? Just this little blurry square here. And you would see the name here. They assured me that even though it's cut off here, this is like what it would look like on an old iPhone. You see this, but it didn't quite capture the interest of people apparently. I mean, I did get the, the upper end of the subscriptions based off of this, but when I changed it to this, look what happened. 3 times as many subs. And that was you know, wow. So now instead of paying 3 to $4 a sub, I'm paying a little over $1 a sub, which is great. Now, obviously, these subs don't all stick, right? Because otherwise, I'd have like they're on to over 350 subs, and every time I dropped a new episode, I would get like 3 or 400 downloads, which I don't get. I get about a third of that. So, um, not sure why. And maybe that they sub and they don't go to the app very frequently or something like that. But regardless, getting 3 times as many is going to help me in my increasing my monthly downloads. So I'm gonna check to see when this comes back here. Comes down to like about $100. Maybe if they start selling them and there's like one left at 110 or 120, I may pick that up. But that's the goal here on the Overcast. And let me see, did I do a podcast addict ad? See here. No, I did not add a new one. There's no ad campaign running at the moment. So I haven't pulled the trigger on this one yet either. Um, I may do that. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how I do this weekend at the paranormal conference. Right. So this was a suggestion that my friend Jody came up with that I try to sell my paranormal mysteries at paranormal conferences. And so there's one in Rockford, Illinois this coming weekend. I have no idea what to expect. I don't know how big it is. They do have vendors. And it's kind of a weird situation. You're not in like one big space. You're kind of spread out throughout this hall. So we'll see what kind of traffic I get, what kind of attention I can do if I can sell. I think I only paid like $30 or $40 for the space, but see how many books I can sell. If I can sell, let's see, I'll probably sell the pair, right? So if I can sell 30 books at $15 a pop. So I'm going to be pricing them, like I mentioned before, at $20. But if you buy 2 or more, then the price comes down to $15. So instead of selling 1 for 20, I'll sell 2 for 30. But since each book costs me between 5 and $6, I'm still making a good profit of about $9 per book. And so that will help me do that. And volume, 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 right? So selling 2 books and making $18 profit is a lot better than selling 1 book and making let's see, 20 minute to $14 profit. Well, I'm only making an extra $4 for the second book, but chances are I'm going to sell a lot more books. So it's always a constant battle in the pricing, trying to figure out what that sweet spot is. Um, so I'll give it a try, see how it goes. If this works out well, I'll look for other conferences like this to sell at, um, and I'll see how my other books do there as well. I mean, the podcast books probably will do well too. I'll bring those, the little $5 books, and see if I can't make some of those sales too. All right. It's been a long day for me. I'm going to say goodnight. And yeah, that's enough. All right. I'm cutting it short a little bit early tonight, but that's okay. Um, Tomorrow, hopefully, I will have that story recorded, the dreams of her, and I will also have the the ending for Leap done, and maybe I'll do a live read of Leap for you guys, the full thing, so you can see how that evolved from the previous thing. So that's what I'll plan on doing. I plan on doing a live read of Leap. I've already done a read of Dreams of Her, but I'm not gonna reveal. I'm not gonna give you another live read of that. I'll just drop it on the podcast. You can see the changes I made and how I produced that one. Maybe I may do some live producing of it. We'll see. All right. Talk to you later.